welcome back to the Cast Talk Show. Today we'll be talking about a weekly roundup of what happened this past week in Major League Baseball. As you all know, in the situation that's been going on with the pandemic, so far we've been having a very good season. A lot of surprising teams, a lot of underachieving teams, and a lot of overachieving teams that nobody thought of that would do well. And we'll see what happens going forward. But, to discuss this whole week and the recap of everything, let's first start off with the COVID situation with the St. Louis Cardinals and the Miami Marlins. St. Louis still, now they've been off for like so many days, now they're back to playing. Hopefully they get their ways going forward, and hopefully they can start playing baseball again, because this was a serious situation where a lot of people got tested for positive for COVID-19. And moving forward, hopefully the St. Louis Cardinals can get their baseball and organization going in the right direction and get some games under their belt, and hopefully get to see them play, because it's been sad in what's happened. Same thing with the Miami Marlins. I mean, they had another situation just like the St. Louis Cardinals with the COVID situation, and they got back to playing. A very surprising start, 7-3. So far so good, and they're looking great. Their young talent, Miguel Rojas, Brian Anderson, Jorge Alfredo, Jesus Aguilar, Jonathan Villar, Louis Brinson, Corey Dickerson. They've been looking real good. I give props to Derek Jeter and that whole organization, trying to push it in the right direction. I'm very proud of them, and hopefully they'll keep it going. They've been a surprise team so far, and hopefully they can keep it going to the end of the season, and you never know, they can make some noise and surprise a lot of people. As for the Atlanta Braves, they're 11-6. They're looking very good offensively. Ronald Acuna Jr., he's just, bashing the ball. But their pitching staff took a big hit with Mike Soroka being out for the, rest of the year and maybe until next year with the torn Achilles. I don't know how they're going to be looking on the pitching staff. They're kind of thin. Their bullpen, so far they got Will Smith back now after he was on the COVID list. And so far, so good. Hopefully they can keep it up. As for the Philadelphia Phillies, they had a problem with the COVID, same thing, and now they're playing, they got a lethal lineup. JT Realmuto is putting up big numbers, now that he's going to be a free agent after this year. He's going to be commanding big money. Hopefully the Phillies could re-sign him. And but their pitching staff is a weakling. After Aaron Nola, it's really garbage. And as for their bullpen, same thing, they're garbage. I don't think they're going to hold up. And, George Girardi, I'm a big fan of him, but it's real sad that their pitching staff and their bullpen, they just can't cut it. They signed Zach Wheeler all to that big money, and yeah, who knows, Jake Arrieta. It's not a good bunch of a rotation and a bullpen. As for the Washington Nationals, they're 4-7, but hopefully they can get it together with Juan Soto coming back off the COVID list. Their pitching staff can get healthy with Steven Strasburg coming back off the injury, and hopefully their bullpen can get it together and try to make this run, and hopefully try to repeat as World Series champions. And it's going to be a big test, but time will tell. And as for the disastrous of the New York Mets, it just gets worse and worse. Noah Syndergaard, out for the year. Edwin Diaz, same old story with the bullpen, blowing saves. Here we go again. Dylan Betances, he's blowing the games. Same thing with Jarius Familia. This bullpen's brutal, outrageous. What can you say? And now with the big news today that Marcus Stroman has opted out, he said it's a family decision. That's fine. Marcus Stroman, I never thought highly of you to begin with, and now with you opting out, going into free agency at the end of the year, I don't know what you're going to be getting, to be honest with you. So you're going to be looking at a one-year deal, and we'll see what happens. And the Mets, I really like Pete Alonso, but Jeff McNeil, Ahmad Rosario, Brandon Nimmo, Michael Conforto as a free agent after this year. The Mets need help, and hopefully new ownership takes over. And that's all I gotta say about the Mets. Just to recap the National League East. Now let's recap the National League Central. The Chicago Cubs at 10-3, a surprising move, surprising start. David Ross is doing a wonderful job. Their pitching staff has been doing very good. But as for their bullpen, same thing. They're not looking too good. Craig Kimbrell has probably lost his job. Or Jeremy Jeffries as a setup man. I don't know hopefully during the trading deadline they can, acquire some bullpen help because they're gonna really need it. And as for the lineup, it's amazing. Javi Baez, their MVP. Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant. A lot of low-key names, and Steven Ozuna Jr. and Jason Kipnis been looking pretty good. So hopefully they can keep it going. I already talked about St. Louis with their situation, only playing 5 games and what happened. So hopefully they can get their season going. As for the Milwaukee Brewers at 6-7, this team did a big turnover, but Christian Yelich now is starting to heat up. Early last week, Lorenzo Cain has opted out of the season, so that's another big piece of the puzzle that he missed. And their pitching staff is doing okay. It's not really much, and their bullpen is up and down. Josh Hader, like I said, could become a trade bait, so we'll see what happens. All in all, this team, I still got them missing out on the playoffs, and we'll see what happens from there. As for the Pittsburgh Pirates, 3-13, well, this team is rebuilding, so you can't expect much. They got a lot of bright spots. They got some bright spots in Josh Bell, who could be a trade bait. Mitch Keller, who's hopefully a rising pitcher in this league. But all in all, it's a rebuilding process, so everybody has to be patient with it. As for the Cincinnati Reds at 7-9, they're starting to heat up now, especially offensively. Nicholas Castellanos, I had him as my best free agent. He's looking very good. He's bashing home runs. He's playing good defense. I love Eugenio Suarez as my third baseman. He's starting to heat up a little bit. You got Freddie Galvis. Joey Votto is looking good this year. Mike Moustakas was looking good, and now he's back on the disabled list. And hopefully he can get back soon. 7-9 still. I predicted them to win the division, and I still believe they can. It's just a matter of how hot the team can get and go on a big winning streak, and hopefully it could turn around soon. Surprisingly, for the Colorado Rockies, now we're going to be previewing the National League West. The Colorado Rockies at 11-4. Shocking. Their lineup is looking great. Their pitching staff is looking good, and German Marquez is one of my favorites in Major League Baseball. And John Gray and Kyle Freeland, they're doing very good, this pitching staff and lineup. After Wade Davis goes on the injury list and Scott Ober goes on the disabled list, you release Jake McGee and Ryan Shaw. This bullpen, so far, it's keeping his heels up, but, I don't trust it to keep it going forward, just because of that stadium, the way it is. But offensively, they're looking good. It's a surprising start. Bud Black is kind of saving his job right now and having a good season, and hopefully they can keep it up. 11, and now let's talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers at 11-5. I still believe this team could be in the World Series or maybe be in the NL Championship. Mookie Betts is heating up. You got Cody Bellinger. You got Justin Turner, Corey Seager. They're looking all good. Jock Peterson, Will Smith. They're looking very good, the Dodgers. They might need help in the bullpen and maybe another pitcher because I feel like that their bullpen, it's not as good anymore, and Kenley Jensen's been overworked. So hopefully going forward for this year, hopefully they can get it together and maybe take over this division and make the quest to try to make it a run back at the World Series. As for the San Francisco Giants, they're 7-10. They got 7 games, but I don't see them going forward or anything. But they got some bright spots, like their outfielder Mike Zaremski. He's looking very good, and but this team is rebuilding, so they're going to be doing a big turnover. And we'll see how that goes from now to the season, but I don't see them keeping it up. I had this team as my sleeper in the National League. By itself was the Arizona Diamondbacks, and they're just been a big disappointment at 6-10. Their big free agent signing was Madison Bumgarner. Now in today's news, he just went on the disabled list, and he's just been looking very horrible. And I don't know what to say about this team. If they just don't cut it, you got guys like Robbie Ray, who's a free agent this year. They might have to trade him. And are you looking at a guy like Archie Bradley? You got Cole Calhoun. They got some pieces that they might trade if they're going to have to blow it up because, they did what they had to do during the offseason in order for them to, try to win this year. And it's not looking good. Not looking promising either. And in a tough division like that in the National League West, it's going to be very tough for them to rebound. So all in all, we'll see how things look forward with them and keep it going. With the San Diego Padres, which I really, really like this team. Fernando Tatis is looking like a beast, the superstar that he is. Manny Machado looking good. Offensively, this team's looking good. Even their pitching staff has done very well. I give credit where credit is due, and but their bullpen, this team, I had them ranked as the second best bullpen in Major League, and it hasn't looked too good so far with Kirby Yates and Drew Pomeranz and Emilio Pagan, with Tim Hill, they acquired from the Kansas City Royals. I mean, this team, they got to find a way to close out the games when they have the lead, and it's very important because any lead you lose, or any games you lose because of their bullpen, and everything could cost you in the towards the end of the season, trying to make your quest run for a division or a wild card or a playoff spot. Now we're going to be previewing the American League. As for the American League West, the Oakland Athletics, very surprising at 12-4, which I had them winning the division, and they're going to look very good. I really like what they're doing with their lineup. I love it. Matt Olson, Marcus Semien, Matt Chapman. Crush Davis hasn't looked like himself, but Ramon Laureano is looking great. Stephen Piscotty, Robbie Grossman. These guys are looking good offensively, and their pitching staff is coming up, and hopefully they can keep it up. As for the Texas Rangers at 6-8, it's not looking too good. I mean, after Lance Lynn and maybe Mike Minor, but the rest of the staff hasn't been looking too good, and neither has their bullpen. They got to pick it up, or else this season is going to be cut short real quick, real fast, and you never know what they're going to have to do at the deadline. Might have to sell off some pieces, so we'll see how they go. As for the Houston Astros at 6-9, like I said from the beginning of the year, they got a very good lineup, but I don't think their pitching staff or bullpen is going to end up keeping it up throughout the year, because losing Garrett Cole was a big loss, losing Verlander is a big loss. I just don't see the pieces for them to really make the playoffs or even try to win a division. So as for the season goes on, we'll see what happens. Seattle Mariners at 16-11, they're not gonna keep it up, so they're just a sorry team, and I don't see them doing anything. The Los Angeles Angels at 5-11, Joe Mannon's a great manager, is one of the best, and it's the talent around this team. The pitching staff's not all that. The bullpen is horrendous. The pitching staff's horrendous. I mean, Justin Upton hasn't done nothing. Albert Pujols looking alright. Mike Trout's looking good. But besides that, there's not a lot of bright spots on this team. So we'll see what happens. As for the Minnesota Twins at 10-6, with Josh Johnson now, on the DL. But this team has a murderer's row lineup, and their pitching staff is looking alright. Their bullpen's looking okay. We'll see how it goes. Nelson Cruz proving it, that age is just a number, and he's bashing. For the Detroit Tigers at 8-5, a surprising 8-5. I mean, CJ Cron's looking good, Miguel Cabrera. Spencer Turnbull as their ace is looking very good. Matthew Boyd is a flop. They had a chance to trade him last year, they didn't, and I think his value just got ruined. And we'll see how the Tigers keep him looking forward, and hopefully they can keep up the great work that they're doing. The Cleveland Indians at 10-7. Their pitching staff is what's been keeping them afloat in this division, along with their lineup, which has looked alright. Their bullpen's the weakness, so Brad Hand's kind of fell off. He might be a trade bait, so we'll see what happens going forward. The Chicago White Sox at 8-8. I mean, not bad, but they got to keep pitching. You got to keep hitting. Their lineups look good, but their pitching staff, it's up and down, and their bullpen's horrendous. So we'll see how that goes. Kansas City Royals 7-10 now. They're rebuilding, so I mean, guys like Hunter Dozier, Salvador Perez, it's a young squad, so hopefully they can keep it going and look forward to the future. For the AL East, the American League East, the Toronto Blue Jays are disappointing at 5-8. Well, I kind of knew that they got a lot of bright spots on for going for the future, but their pitching staff's awful, their bullpen's awful. Hyun-Jin Ryu is the biggest bust, and it's showing. And hopefully they could just keep the bright spots of the future, like Bobashev, Vladimir Guerrero, a lot of the young guys keep building, and hopefully you can keep on building the minor league system, hopefully build for that future in order to contend. For the Boston Red Sox at 6-9, they got a very great lineup, but their pitching staff is horrible, their bullpen's horrible. They got nobody to rely to, so we'll see how that goes. Baltimore Orioles at 7-7, not bad. They got some bright spots, and you're not expecting much from this team, but hopefully they can keep it going. And it's not bad so far, so you got to give it credit where credit's due. For the Tampa Bay Rays at 8-8, it's disappointing to me that they're 8-8, but they got a nice young nucleus of a pitching staff and a bullpen. It's a scrappy team, actually, and so far not bad, but